Now we're going to come into a fan brush, and in the distance I'm going to make some trees, but I'm going to use that same mountain color but just a lighter version of it. I'm going to use some liquid white that thins it out. I'm going to load it up on the fan brush just like that. We're going to come in and we're going to pull up this motion here and get some illusion of evergreen trees in the distance. But you want to keep that gap in between the lightness, because that gives you your layers. That's what you want to do. You want to create layers in your paintings. Maybe it goes who knows where. Just to give that look of distant evergreen trees. Because you know, in nature, maybe they go up higher here. What I'm doing is I'm pulling from the dark watercolor, and that's giving me my color too. Because in nature, a lot of times you can't see a lot of that stuff. Taking a blender brush again, I'm going to tap down. Because at that base too, where the trees are at, you're going to see that foggy look. Clean the brush off. Sometimes if you run across where it's not light enough, just tap into just a little bit of liquid white. And when you tap down on that, that will give you that look of the misty look. Now what I'm going to do is, we got that going on, I'm going to put some land here and put the water in front. So what I'm going to do is come in with that fan brush with some darker color, same hue, kind of purplish wintry look. Load it up on the fan brush and then determine where we want our land to be. It's going to be some land in front. All I'm doing is tapping down. More color. Maybe it's in front of those trees. Just like that. Make it a little darker. A little bit more land part. I'm adding more paint. Because we want this to be a little bit thicker land here, because we're going to have some evergreen trees. On this part. So what I'm doing, I'm just tapping it in, getting the lay of the land, getting the illusion of some land happening there. Maybe it's thicker right there. Maybe this comes over here a little bit. Just like that. Now I'm going to use some liquid clear, the same colors, I'm going to put some evergreen trees in. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking the edge, the fan brush, and just tapping down, straight down on where you might want your evergreen tree to be. And it gives you a little bit of a base to go by. Then I'm going to tap and go across. And it's going to give you your branches more liquid white. Maybe in our world there's another one right here. Tap down and then start going across. Maybe another one, taller one right here. I like to leave a little gap at the very top of the tree. And as you come down, you leave gaps in between, because that's the way it looks in nature. You know, no tree is perfect. Maybe I'm going to put a big one right here. Maybe going all the way up. Just going back and forth. Not going to see a whole lot of detail because the trees are too far back. Just making that illusion. Making a big one right here. I hope you can see this okay. I'm trying to stay out of the way. Just using the corner of the brush. Just tapping. Maybe there is a smaller one here. I want to get them at different heights, sizes, just like in nature. They got all kinds of things that's happening in the real world. Maybe I'll put one, a big one right here. Just tapping. Leaving the gaps. Just like that. Just whatever you think. Maybe I'm going to put a bigger one here. Maybe he's almost going up to the clouds. It's whatever you think. You can make little stories as you're painting. Kind of get into the picture. Just like that. You got the different layers. You got the sky, the mountains, the back wooded area, and now this area. I'm going to make a smaller one here. Taking the corner of the brush and just tapping and going back and forth. Just the way you think a tree would look. Maybe a little one right here. Who knows? It just, that's what I thought when I looked at it. Way off in the distance. It looks like they're coming towards you. Okay, now I'm gonna put maybe put a tree growing over here. So I'm gonna use some of that same color. A little bit darker though, because it's getting closer to us. On the fan brush, I'm just going to tap, and you're going to see as I tap it, it's going to look like a tree with the branches coming over. Maybe this one's coming right in front. Coming right down. Just make it a different branches are coming out. Coming over, hanging over this little area here. Filling in back here where it gets closer. Maybe there's critters living in there. Gets darker, darker. All the way down. Who knows? Got that happening. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 2-inch brush. I'm going to load it up with titanium white. Mostly liquid white. Because what I want to do is put some snow in on that distant landscape. Load a 2-inch brush up just like that. You get the little edge on there. You're going to come in here and just start tapping. Just like that. Because you want to get that snow. That snow effect off in the distance. Or there's some snow happening. You want to have different layers of the land. So you want to have gaps in between. Just like that. Got different things happening. It's too far away for you to really see a lot of detail. But for the most part, you know there's snow back there. Okay, we got that happening. I'm going to take the fan brush again we're using for the trees. I'm going to pick up some darker color and I'm going to get some reflection going on right here. I'm just tapping it just below the water line. And I do that because I found out that it gives you a nicer effect on the water. I'm going to wipe some of this off. I want to come in and get the trees reflection. All I'm doing is tapping down in front of where the tree would be. Just like that. Now I'm going to pull down. Get all this land underneath the trees happening all the way. A little bit more color because, like I said, I like it darker in this area. That's what I've noticed. Darker. Now, I'm going to take the fan brush. I'm going to take it and we're going to pull down. What I'm going to do is pull down on just with the corner of the brush by the trees. And that's going to bring out more of the color down and give you that look of the trees. A little bit of reflection in the water or on the ice. It could be ice. Nicey pond. I'm going to take the palette knife, go into some of that dark color, get a roll of paint on it, right across the edge, and I'm going to come tapping here. Right where I want that to stick out, be darker. Because what we're doing was trying to create an illusion. I'm going to come into the fan brush again and just pull Just tap it and pull it just a little bit. All the way. And you can see it. You can see it taking it away. Pulling off of it. Knock off the excess. Now you want to pull down. Get that next layer. That next layer of the trees happening. It's whatever you think. It's your world. Next time you're out, once you start painting, you'll look at nature in a different way. You start looking at the clouds different, the sky, and now I'm going to take it and go straight across, just barely. Get that water line look. Just here and there and there and here. Now I'm going to get some titanium white, liquid white. I'm going to put some water lines in. All I'm going to do is tap right where that darkness is. Just here and there. Some water lines happening. Get a little roll of paint on this side here. Maybe you got stuff happening out in the frozen lake. What I'm going to do now is come in and go across and blend some of this lake in now. Get that light area looking good. Blending it in. Just like that. Knock the excess off. Come into our palette knife. I'm going to put in some branches and twigs, and we'll take that corner and just scrape. The liquid white we got on there is going to come off. That's automatically going to be branches and twigs, and you don't have to use your paintbrush. It's kind of a neat thing to do. Wherever you think you want some twigs and branches and